Back to Call of Cthulhu. I literally just Google YouTubed how to get out of there, and I didn't live stream it because I was pausing and watching, pausing and watching, pausing and watching as I went through it, and so I wanted to give it my undivided attention. That way, I didn't have to do it too many times. It was actually kind of simple. Once you had all of the keys that you needed, you um, yeah, there are a there's probably tons of videos on YouTube on how to get out. I chose to forego that because I didn't want to deal with all of it.
Doctor, is that you?
Don't you worry about the doctor. Right now, he'll have plenty to keep him busy with his precious machine. It gives us time to get away. I'll undo you.
Get away? Get away where? I can't go anywhere. It'll find me, like it found me here. You're mistaken about the beast. Don't stay with me, or you'll end up the same way.
Okay. You need treatment. I can't do that one. I won't abandon the wound. What did they do to you? I sense something unnatural.
What is the exact nature of the beast you're running away from?
You've got instinct, a sensitivity for the invisible. It puts you in danger. The creature that is pursuing me is not from our world.
After what I've seen so far on this island, I'm ready to believe you.
Don't do that! Do not believe. Or you'll end up like us all.
What happened to you, Sanders?
The real culprit is Sarah. Her and her accursed paintings.
You're kidding me. You're talking about Sarah Hawkins.
The one and only. The legendary. There is no artist more enlightened or cursed than Sarah Hawkins.
Oh shit.
Is she cursed because of something she did to you?
Oh
No,
lord.
no, it's because she's cursed that she harmed me.
On purpose. You say that Sarah Hawkins harmed you.
If it were only me, her conscience, her guilt were eating her away. But she never wanted all that. Well, not really.
What's going on this island?
I'm so sorry. We should never have met.
What are you talking about?
Destiny! It has trapped you. Don't let it see you, or you won't be able to escape it. Don't look at it. That's how it finds you.
What finds me?
Sarah Hawkins' visitor. The Shambler.
Sanders, pull yourself together.
Without her, it's no longer possible to save me. No!
Hello.
Sanders!
Can you not? What the fuck? Leave him alone, Cthulhu!
What the hell?
Cthulhu be gone, you bot.
I gotta...
Oh Jesus.
Okay.
Oh my.
This is insane. What killed him?
Did he scratch his own eyes out? Okay. My Lost Battalion lighter. And I was correct that you can get out multiple ways. There's one where you can deal with electricity. I went with the vent path. Okay, no. No.
Damn! The gas! My head.
Later. We need to move on.
Okay, Chapter 6, Hawkins Mansion. Hawkins woke up in an asylum installed in the cellars of Riverside Institute, where he met Dr. Colden, a female friend of Bradley, who helped him escape wandering through the corridors of this place to Mr. Fuller's reign supreme. Pierce was able to talk to a man called Francis Sanders before he died in full view of the detective. He accused Sarah Hawkins of being cursed of his torments. Pierce finally left the accursed buildings, accompanied by Bradley and Colden. The companions in misfortune decide to use the Hawkins mansion as a hideout. That doesn't sound like a go. What the fuck? That's an eyeball. Ooh, what the hell?
Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink.
Okay, first off, I'm going to go through all the things that I found over the course. Oh, I have 3 CP available. Okay, what do I want? Okay, what's the one that allows me to pick locks? I need more of this. Oh, no. There we go. Okay. So my sanity is shaken. Okay, so I saw this one. Searching through the cellars of Riverside Institute. One second, guys, I got a yawn. Pierce entered a room that he first took as a morgue, but the advanced state of decay in the corpses that lay about the place quickly made him realize he was wrong. Nothing could justify the presence of such a carnal house in a hospital. The putrid smell and total absence for respect for human life, as witnessed by this room, profoundly shook Dr. Pierce, costing him some of his sanity. Well, aren't you a dick? The death of Francis Sanders. The weirdness of Francis Sanders' death went far beyond anything Pierce had ever seen. Lifted off his feet by an invisible force, the poor man's body was carried into the air before being thrown violently against the bars of his hiding place. Pierce, powerless, watched the limbs break and Sanders' body crumble to the ground. During long moments of agony, the detective saw nothing that explained this event. Weakened by his wounds and the operations he could remember undergoing, Pierce begins to question his ability to tell the difference between reality and the nightmares that haunt him. Okay, that's scary. Okay. So wait, do I have 2 things for Charles Hawkins now? Stephen, Sarah, Simon, Bradley, James, Roy, Silas. Okay, no. Okay. Francis Sanders, age 47, occupation art dealer. Francis Sanders knew Sarah Hawkins so well that he accused her of being the source of his suffering. The man gouged his own eyes out with his own hands and smeared the walls of his cell with historic symbols. He seemed to obsessed with a shambler linked to Sarah Hawkins. He died before my eyes in circumstances that I cannot explain. Place. Okay. Cellars of Riverside Institute. Strictly speaking, I didn't spend much time in the hospital. When I woke, I was immediately transferred into the cellars of the Institute. A sort of clandestine asylum where Dr. Fuller carried out his experiments on patients without being troubled. Unknown machines sit beside anatomical drawings that are disturbing, to say the least. I have managed to escape this place. I might not have much luck another time. Is there more? No. I would get that as a tattoo. I think that's cool as hell. Yeah, inventory. So I did get. Oh, I have sleeping pills. Cool. I managed to pick up some rosary beads. Rosary. I found this rosary in one of the cells in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. Its representation of the Virgin looks like nothing I've ever seen, and that's all I really found. That's new? Maybe? No, it's what else is new, apparently. There's something about this that I'm supposed to be seeing. Oh, what the hell am I missing? Oh, okay. And I just found a bunch of medicine books.
No. I want to know what Bradley and Dr. Colden have to say about all this.
Fine. Do what you want. I'm just trying to figure something.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Like shit.
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
Can I have something to drink, please? So, why are they using this as a quote-unquote hideout?
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I saw people in hoods. They had stolen Mrs. Hawkins' paintings.
Who are you talking about? Why would they do such a thing?
I don't know, but they were a threat. They've taken over the caves under the mansion. They were performing some kind of ritual. One of the entryways was under Charles Hawkins' office.
We suspect Mr. Hawkins of being involved.
My patients believe the old islanders used to worship primitive sea gods. Could they be the focus of the cult?
Am I hearing this right?
So you think me gullible?
No, not at all.
Yes.
What else did you uncover, Mr. Pierce?
I have flashbacks. They haunt me.
What did they do to you?
There was that Dr. Fuller and a nurse. Blood everywhere. My legs, the pain, I couldn't bear it. I was screaming. They injected me with something. I woke up at the Institute. Bradley was there.
And how you scared us. You seemed demented.
You likely woke up during the anesthesia. No wonder those memories haunt you. What in God's name were they doing to you?
What happened afterwards?
When I woke up the second time, I was in a padded cell. That's where you found me, Doctor. After you released me, I got a good look at what's in store for the patients of the Riverside Institute. Hallucinogenic gas pumped into the cells. An infernal machine. Horrific medical experiments.
Impossible. Dr. Fuller would never do such a thing.
You should believe it, Ethan. What Mr. Pierce saw is precisely what I've been trying to prove. Did you discover anything else?
Might be
I
on
met
some
a
lead.
Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins. And that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
You called him the Shambler?
I didn't see what. But something was there. With us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
Oh. I mean, if I knew more about how he died and like what killed him, I would be.
He's right. We can't ignore
There
the
we go.
truth.
But it could drive her mad.
Oh,
Better
Lord.
madness than ignorance. Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, can I tell Fuller to fuck off?
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
Okay.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Okay. Can I please just have something to drink? Guess not. Okay, let's see what my book has on Fuller. Okay. Dr. Fuller, age 52, occupation, Riverside's senior physician. Dr. Fuller resides as the undisputed master of the Riverside Institute and of its cellars, in which he carries out illegal experiments on his patients. I don't know what he has done to me, but I shouldn't be back on my feet so soon after my fall. When the tunnels under the Hawkins mansion caved in. This man is dangerous. I'd swear he knows more about all this business than he's willing to tell. Okay, I can just outright leave. Okay, Chapter 6, Sanders' Residence. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decide to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders. Jesus, I don't know why I'm yelling so much, guys. Who died right in front of Pierce. Oh, Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to his house in order to speak with his widow about the shambler and the unfortunate man mentioned before he died.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
Cat.
You know each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, Detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
I don't like that she's going into his office because it probably holds a lot of information for me.
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course.
Oh
Thank you
Lord,
for your
everything's
kind
affecting my
words.
destiny. I don't like
Nobody in
this.
that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
It's terrible what happened to your husband, but I had nothing to do with it. I was injured, and I came across him in the hospital quite by chance.
Injured? Well, I'm delighted to see you in such fine fettle, Detective. Not everybody enjoyed such a prompt recovery.
I suppose Fuller does do miracles now and again.
Luck is obviously very kind to you. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
May I ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private, Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
Okay, how do you know
How
Sarah
did you
Hawkins?
come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
I deduce that your husband already mentioned this dimensional shambler.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Okay, how much can I poke my nose around?
The day the shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
A photograph of Sarah Hawkins next to Sanders. They must be close. Oh. Okay.
A house of artists.
Okay, that didn't do anything for me. Psychology.
Frances Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? A house of artists.
Okay, that's still doing nothing for me.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? A house of artists.
Okay, I think that's all that is ever going to tell me.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel? She despises Sarah Hawkins, but it's the painting she truly hates. Why? The Shambler. I need to see it.
And I just stole her book. What's in here? You must forgive me, Miss Sanders. I do not know. Okay, let's check out what they have on everyone. So my sanity is still just eh. Okay, one more and I'll be able to... Oh, damn it, no. Okay, dark water. Okay, so... Irene Sanders, age 41, occupation none. It is clear she holds Sarah Hawkins responsible for the death of her husband, but what I don't understand about Irene Sanders is the mix of sadness and insensitivity. It looks like she had given up on her husband long before his horrid death in the cellars of Riverside. That's entirely possible. I mean, okay. Cross-checking the information given by Francis Sanders and his widow, it is possible to reconstruct the events that led to the internment of Sanders. Everything points to Sanders and Sarah Hawkins being close, linked by at least the interest the collector shows in the artist's work, but more probably by a certain friendship, attested to by the represented refusal of Sarah Hawkins to sell the painting called The Shambler. Against all expectation, she finally gave it away for free. The feelings had still shown by Irene Sanders towards Sarah Hawkins are evidently deprived from what she considers to be the artist's responsibility. Madness struck Sanders a short while after he gained possession of the painting. So she blames...
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Where's the phonograph?
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me.
Is she now just gonna yell at me?
Except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. Behind my eyelids. Each time I shut my eyes.
Do you have...
I can't take anymore. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
Give...
Accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
She has nothing to say. Okay.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
Oh, cool. More occultism stuff.
I could use one of those.
More sleeping pills. I have so many sleeping pills.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning to you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the Shambler. Your friend Sarah Hawkins.
An old diary.
That did nothing for me. Okay. Cool. Oh, yeah, read the book. What the fuck? Okay, it's a type of encyclopedia of monsters and unknown creature. I'm beginning to believe that they exist. Oh, Lord. That took a hit to my... That had to have taken a hit to my sanity. Yeah, it's going down. Oh well. I can live with it. Okay, the occult. The Manglus Mysterium. Men will gather the knowledge through the lines dedicated to me by the great old ones, but also in other volumes, the version that Asylum. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time reading today. But also in the other volumes, this version, the visions that install me, whispers me names and silhouettes of mythical creatures. Soon the Malleus Monstrum, respiratory of all anatomical, cosmic, and dimensional knowledge, will be seen as authoritative work. This book, unholy among the most cursed books, will one day be the final rampart between man and the predators that are waiting to devour him, hidden behind the veils of parallel dimensions. Okay. So is there anything else? Cool, my medicine is going up slowly. Okay, Miss Cat.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with her because I'm thinking I gotta verify the paintings for a buyer. No, I'm gonna be honest with her because I feel like if I work with her, she'll work with me.
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say? Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder.
Okay. In I go. Oh, this is cool as hell. Why am I able to hide? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Okay, you know what? If you don't want people looking over your shoulder, how about you don't look over mine? He was into the occult.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times. These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
Okay, there's the painting that I'm...
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
Well, when you're into things, that's kind of what you do.
The public entrance to the gallery. Why was he so interested in old weapons?
And then here it is, the Shambler. Hello. Nope, it is just you. However, I welcome you to the stream. Oh, that thing is creepy. Yeah, how about you just go back into the painting?
What the hell was that?
Okay. So that explains why. Okay, Shambler's Rent. The Shambler is a painting. Da 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 da. Hawkins were very close, undeniable. Widow. Okay. There isn't a stealth thing. So I'm gonna, yeah, put my last point in there. That had to have taken my, yeah. Okay, clues. Letter by Sarah Hawkins. Inventory. Okay, so that didn't do anything for me. Okay. I don't know what it is that I... Okay, I'm taking one headphone off. Oh Lord, what the fuck is that? I'm gonna die. Okay. Yep. Oh, okay, that's an odd question. Yes, I am. Oh, last checkpoint. Am I supposed to escape? I'm not sure if I'm supposed to escape this thing, or...
What the hell was that?
A Shambler, but it didn't give me an objective afterwards. Nothing. No. No. You know what? F this, I'm booking it.
I can't touch it.
No? Okay, so I can't run. So I have to hide from it until long enough that it no longer has an interest in me?
What the hell was that? Call of Cthulhu? I'm enjoying it a lot. I really don't get what I'm supposed to be doing. What the heck?
I can't even touch it.
Nope. Okay. How am I supposed to get away from this thing? Do you want me to try and up the brightness? I mean, it is a darker game, like, thematically speaking. It's set in like kind of the Lovecraftian universe. So very heavy on like the eldritch beings and stuff like that. Am I supposed to get out through the
What
main,
the hell was that?
the public quote unquote public entrance? What if I run up to the painting? Wait. Can I combat this thing with my... Nope. No, I cannot. Okay. What if I, like, burn the painting with my lighter?
What the hell was that?
Okay, press X to hide in a closet. I'm just gonna wing it and go for it.
That thing.
This said it could be something that could have been lit. One sec. It has to be a link. Okay. Can I pick up a weapon and, like, cut it? Can I...
What the hell was that?
Oh, no. Meant to lean. So how are you today?
Damn. Did it hear that?
Back in the closet, back in the closet. Go away.
Maybe I can use this dagger.
What the hell do you expect to do? Cut it? This isn't gonna do it. Damn. Yeah, no, this isn't gonna do anything. Okay. Am I supposed to, like, attack the painting? Somehow? Like, I don't know. I really wish I had more to actually show the game right now, but
What the hell was that?
I'm trying to survive. Okay.
Damn. Did it hear that?
Nope, it saw me. It saw me go in. Yep, hello. Hey, at least I gotta show you guys a new way that I can die. That's always fun.
What the hell was that?
He's going away.
Damn. Did it hear that?
I really don't know how long I can stay in this closet, but
Maybe I can use this dagger.
okay, I'm just gonna beeline straight for the painting.
Damn it! This dagger didn't work.
There's like a bajillion daggers in here. Oh, this is messed up. There's seriously like, I don't even know how many daggers in here. One sec. I'm going to Google this real quick. That way I can get on with the game, because I've died enough times already. So, Call of Cthulhu. Killing the Shambler. Here we go. Okay. That was instrumentally helpful. Okay, I'm just gonna take the bet. Because apparently the dagger that I'm after is in this room. And so I have a little, there's a little map that someone drew that should, in theory, be the correct one. Hopefully. I'm not sure. Okay, enter the madness. Okay, so it said,
What the hell was that?
stay crouched. You just head straight for this room. And wait until it sounds like the ghost is clear.
Down. Did it heal?
Okay, now you get to go. Oh, nope, of course. Of course it saw me at the last possible second. Okay, I'm just gonna grab the dagger and just book it straight for the... And hopefully that works. But that is supposed to be the dagger. I'm gonna be greatly annoyed if it's not, but...
What the hell was that?
Oh well. Okay. Nope, go away. This is a colossal pain. No, don't go out that exit. Go out the other one. Can I outrun it? So again, grab the dagger, book it.
Down. This dagger looks different.
There we go. stabbed her right in the face.
You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Very much so. The painting is cursed.
Sanders was right. This painting is cursed.
What are you talking about?
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
You know about the monster.
You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it.
So she's just gonna let me
From what
walk
I
out
saw
with the
in the
dagger?
ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
The creature. This dagger was the only weapon capable of pushing it back. This antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult. I have nothing to lose by meeting him.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk business with Irene.
Okay. The Shambler turned out to be much more than artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins. As a huge creature came out of the painting to attack Pierce after a hard fight, the detective managed to send it back to the painting. He later discovered that the dagger he used was to repel the creature, but had been sold to Sanders by a man named Algernon. What was that book? Flowers for Algernon or something like that? Drake. Owner of the nameless bookstore, Pierce decided to pay the library a visit. I mean, no harm, no foul, right? Okay, let's.
Where's the bookseller? Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams. It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
This practical work, written by Sigmund Freud for a psychologist, describes the techniques of analytical interpretation of dreams. The analysis must follow several rules, especially off the free association, a principle announced by Freud. At the end of the 19th century, it treats dreams as a way of revealing buried desires. I cannot believe that this theory is applicable to my nightmares. I think many people probably can. History of Darkwater. Yay, you got more history books. I like how I'm just casually stealing this dude's books. Okay, my medicine just gone up more. This is everywhere. go.
The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers place truth on the same footing as a religion.
These Tibetan writings are the origin of the, oh god, a Stoic movement founded by Helena Blavatsky at the end of the 19th century. The creator of Thespiae would have drawn extensively on the text of this work, but no one has ever been able to consult them. I thought they didn't exist. This book, discovered in the nameless bookstore on Darkwater, could be as much of a fake as irrefutable proof of Blavatsky's sincerity. Wow. I'm straight up just stealing this dude's books. Yeah, I'm not worrying about that. Okay. This one, no. The books that help progress your character are pretty well hidden, all things considering. I will read the book.
What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge.
Oh, who does that remind us of? That dickhead right there. This collection catalogs and classifies creatures that I never expect to hear of, divinities from the stars, creatures capable of traveling from one dimension to the other. It presents itself as a reference work on bestiality, of the bestiary of the myth without giving details on the mythology to which it refers. The pages are covered in phantasmagorical illustrations. Cool, my occultism stuff is going up. Cool. Okay.
An old diary.
So wait, so I really don't think that they would have put like books like, you know, the pastor's wife's diary or whatnot in here without any reason. So why is it in here? A phonograph. More history of Darkwater. I'm seriously waiting for this dude to just be like, what the hell are you doing stealing my stuff? Okay, I'm going to quickly read over all of this stuff. Oh, I have 2 of these left. Let's bring that up. Bring that up. There we go. So I have 4 of 5 and 4 of 5. My sanity is shaken, obviously. Meet the Shambler. Right, this is the next one. Yeah. Okay, Meet the Shambler. It is... sorry, guys. I'm, like, half laying down, so it's kind of uncomfortable. One sec. It is in Francis Sanders' private gallery that Pierce discovers the identity of the Shambler, a huge artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins. When Pierce approached it, a creature burst forth from the painting and immediately chased after him. This beast from another dimension has such a hold on the mind of a person it finds itself in its presence, that a single glance in its direction is enough for Pierce to lose some sanity. Pierce finally managed to send the Shambler back into the painting using a dagger engraved with a strange symbol, but this encounter has left its mark on the psyche of the investigator. Still under the influence of the creature, he almost stabbed his own hand. But he didn't because of the Mimi. Places. Thank you. Sanders residence. The Sanders house, all in shades of red and in gold, is impressive, but nothing matches the private gallery of Francis Sanders. The place is huge and, and entirely decorated to his passion for troubling and macabre works, defaced figures of virgins, sacrificial daggers, statues of monsters, and the painter that led him to his demise takes center stage, The Shambler, a painting by Sarah Hawkins, a close friend of the couple. What happened in this room, I will never be able to forget it. Oh, I wonder why. Well, stab your hand. Okay. Dagger of the Ancients. This exceptional dagger of Ottoman origins probably dates from 16th century and bears the elder sign on its hilt. So a pentagram. It apparently belonged to Pargali Ibrahim Push, a grand vizier in the court of Lord Suleiman the Magnificent. Legend tells that Pargali used the symbol on the dagger to protect the court from a creature that haunted the mirrors of the palace. It is certain that Smarian had his vizier executed. Did he fear him after this demonstration of power? Who knows? The painting of the Shambler. The painting was exposed in Francis Sanders' art gallery, but I think that the creature no longer requires it for movement. It went to hunt down Sanders in the cellars of Riverside Institute. I do not know where it comes from, but one thing is for sure, it's starving. Did I succeed in sending it back to its world? I am not sure. Oh. Dimensional Shambler. A dimensional shambler comes from a dark and hospitable dimension where the rarity of food sources keeps it in a state of permanent starvation. This is why it is in a constant state of readiness to travel to other dimensions in order to feed its inhabitants. Make sure you never weaken the veils of your dimension, otherwise you risk attracting this very dangerous creature. Should this happen, you just have to lay eyes on its being to anchor yourself in your dimension and allow it to rip you open with its claws. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, clues. I've got clues. Okay, letter to Sarah Hawk. Oh, I already read that. Okay. That is everything, right? Oh, nope, there's still some stuff in inventory. Okay. This one spends time on the revered Windwooks community. His wife expressed her worries about the strange dream that Reverend are having since their arrival on this island. Some members of the community, her husband including, begin to speak of their visions as a messenger sent by God. She is scared that they're suffering the same fate as the lost tribe. I already read that one. Did I get the first pastor book? I'm not sure. Okay, anyway. History of Darkwater. A Puritan colony led by Reverend John Wickwood settled on the island during the 17th century. They named the island Darkwater because of the dark shades of the sea. They believed it was because of the particular color of the rocks surrounding the island. They erected the first buildings, among which were a Hawkins Manor, the church, and the cemetery. The rare documents and handwritten notes they left spoke of nightmares and deviant behaviors. They disappeared at the beginning of the 18th century. Book of Drizan. Okay, I already read that one. Okay, Volume 4. The pastor declared himself to be the prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to the voice in his head because it holds truth. Oh, so he went crazy. Okay, good to know. There's no bell for me to ring that goes ching 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 ching.
What happened here?
Oh, I love doing this. This explains why I gotta steal
Let's
all
start
of
over.
his shit.
Where did they break in from? Blood. Seems like amateur work.
Oh, I didn't even see this.
Someone tall left his footprint. A man, probably.
I don't think you can exactly make that assumption. Okay.
This burglar seems to be rather clumsy. What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene? What killed all these animals? What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work? What the... Charles Hawkins? Looks like the symbol rejected Hawkins. Where did I see it? What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess? Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe. Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
Oh, that was a trip. Oh, thank you. I'm just, don't mind me again.
Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
The page seems to be hidden here. It is possible to read. If someone finds these memoirs, there will be no doubt that I am in serious trouble. My last and only hope is that my body and bones will still be in this plane of reality, in order that they be recovered and burned. The funeral urn must be given to my dear mother if she is still in this world. The following message is of capital importance. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine can hope to gain access to my most precious possession. It lies within my safe. The clues to the combination can be found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Each cylinder is numbered, even if, as the celebrated author says, order is the pleasure of reason, but disorder is the delight of imagination. Indeed, despite my preference for organized chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails in the end. If by chance a person, or should I say genius, was to match my intellect and find the combination to the safe, I would ask that they deliver its contents to safekeeping to my friend and colleague Professor Armitage of Miss Dorimac University. Its contents of this safe is not only vast digestive knowledge, but also a weapon that is far too dangerous for to fall in the wrong hands. I hope that you will be able to appreciate the danger that this represents, and you will act accordingly. In any event, I will neither be there to guide you nor suffer from your actions. Okay. So...
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills?
More for me.
What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
This key bears the Elder Sign. It is the only one able to protect your psyche. It is in the form of a cylindrical medallion, hanging on the end of a heavy chain hundreds of years ago. The star and the branches, whose purpose is to push back the forces of the great old ones, were engraved into its center. Everything points to it being Charles Hawkins that tore it from its last owner, an Egyptian antique dealer. Impressed the misdemeanor, the date of the robbery coincides with the last of the Hawkins trips to Cairo. It remains to be seen whether he knows the true powers of the artifact. Try and find it. Okay. Okay. He said it was on 3 cylinders.
Arkham editions. Never heard of him.
An ancient Frisian manuscript translated by William R. Sandbach. The text claims that in the distant Europe and the other continents were controlled by the mothers of this people, and moreover that our alphabet is derived from Thesbian language. This volume is part of Arkham Anthology, a luxurious collection of treatises and works on... Cool.
How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Okay, what's
Arkham
number
Editions? Never heard of him.
A collection of poems by Edward Pickman Derby, also known as Nightmarish Lyrics. This collection of poems is sensible, sensationally retrieved. When first published in 1908, Derby was only 18 years old. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology. Okay, cool.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
Okay, so the last paragraph is kind of all the same. A book of spells supposedly written by the legendary King Solomon. It contains various rituals and invocations and rituals, of course. Reedition by Claudia D. Waiters, based on L.W. de...
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Opera in eight acts by... I can't pronounce that. An infamous lyrical work published in Italy in 1768. It is said that the opera was performed only once, resulting in an audience riot that left several dead and missing. Holy shit.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
A collection of long-term astrological predictions written in verse, written by Nostradamus, translated by E. Leone. Okay. Wait, there's a cylinder.
How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham
collection
Editions.
of essays on American folklore and urban legends written by Albert Wilmarth, Professor. Okay.
Arkham Editions.
Written by...
Never heard of him.
Text different beliefs and was written by a legendary philosopher. It includes a translation by Emerald Tablet, a popular text of the 16th century alchemists. Cool. So wait, what did it say again? Sanity. Oh, my sanity is going down, it seems. Oh, the name of this book. I've never seen such a collection of works on magic and occultism. Algernon Drake, the owner, prides himself on being a luminary in the study of phenomena. The library was ransacked during an attempted burglary. It holds numerous rare and forbidden works. Its back room houses a safe protected by an ancient symbol. Good to know. Clues. Okay. Nope. Okay, thank you. Okay, each cylinder is numbered even if... The clues to the combination are to be found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Okay, life and study. So it has to be like up there, right? Because this is biology, and this is... Okay, so theology, mythology, and biology. Oh, hello.
Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
3, 2, but where's the first one? Okay, where is it? Oh, yeah, it's fun. I think the phonograph was in here. Wait, there's something hidden somewhere. and here something is hidden. Alchemy. It's a lot of It takes a lot to kill cockroaches, so genuinely color me a little bit impressed.
A strange amulet. I have a feeling I'd better not touch it.
The pendant is in the shape of a large dog. I do not know what it represents. I might find out more about it by searching the... Cool. Now where's his phonograph? Every time I look, it makes me laugh.
Things are not looking good.
That's an odd statement.
A kind of chalice.
This goblet seems to be very ancient. It seems to be made of gold and decorated with real precious stones. Do the rubies and sapphires make a specific motif? Okay, so does everything now all of a sudden hold like special importance? If so, let me give everything kind of one last glance over the skull. Okay, I'm just going back to the phonograph.
And these red rocks, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
Okay, so that's referring to this.
The chalice of knowledge.
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
The Queen has little protection.
Can't click on that anymore.
The chalice of knowledge. What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular... So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message. What did Drake say about this collection?
This is number 9.
Drake talked about a particular volume.
4.
So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his... What did Drake say about this collection?
6.
Drake talked about a particular volume.
7,
so these are the volumes
2,
that Drake was talking about in his... What did Drake say about this
3,
collection? Drake talked about
1.
a particular
okay, so
volume.
1.
So these are the volumes that Drake was
2.
talking about. What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular
2.
volume. So these are the volumes
3.
that Drake was talking about in his message. What did Drake say about this collection?
4.
Drake talked about a particular... So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
4.
What did Drake say about this collection?
5.
Drake talked about a... So these are the volumes that Drake... What did Drake say about this collection? The Queen has little protection.
Okay, 1 sec.
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
Queen has little protection.
Okay. And then it talks about a goblet.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
Do the rubies and sapphires make up specific motif? Okay, one sec. One.
Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Okay, so it specifically said number... What was that? Oh. Number 9, which is
Drake
this
talked
one.
about a particular volume.
Yeah, number 9.
So these are the volumes. What did Drake say about this? Drake talked about a particular volume.
No, his nightmarish lyrics... he was 18, so I'm thinking 18 has some importance. So one sec. The first one is... God, what was the first one talking about again? The first one was talking about the goblet. Okay.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
So... There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10, that would be 0. Number 2 was talking about the... Oh, Lord. Okay, one sec.
And these red rocks, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
One, maybe?
The Queen has little protection. The Queen has little protection. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
139? So... 1... No. Okay, what is it? What did this thing say again about it all? Oh, do not make the mistake of taking this jewel for an inanimate object. The soul of a powerful sorcerer devoured bodies of the Lang cult set from Central Asia lies in this jade amulet. His very characteristic form, a massive hunting dog, represents the transformation to the sorcerer into man-eating ghoul. Whoever unearths the amulet and wears it around his neck is at the risk of the sorcerer's wrath. The latter will return in the shape of a formidable hunter to track and disembowel all defilers. Peachy. Okay, one sec. The following message found 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Numbered. Order is the pleasure of reason, but disorder is the delight of the imagination. Despite my preference to organize chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails at the end. I'm really, really not getting it.
The Queen has little protection.
Four? Four. I think that's what would be considered B4 on a chess table. B4.
What did Drake say about this collection?
1908.
Drake talked about a particular volume.
This is one hell of a puzzle.
The Chalice
I'm really
of
not
Knowledge.
getting. I don't see any markings on it that indicate a number. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 0? Nine, maybe? No. Okay, I'm gonna look this one up and then call the session here. Crap, what is it? Oh, safe puzzle. No, that was a mistake. Okay, safe puzzle. Okay. I should have been able to pick this up. I should have been able to pick that up. In the Nameless Bookstore appears traced Oh god, am I back in this frickin' place? He discovered Charles Hawkins was behind the attempt. Pierce opened this bookseller's safe to find out what the latter and Sarah Hawkins had hidden there. The book covered in human skin laid inside. Irresistibly attracted the detective. When he opened it, his mind was projected into another body. What? Anyway, guys, so that is all the time I'm going to be allotting for this session. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, please feel free to comment down below. If you guys have any suggestions on things that I might have missed or overlooked, please let me know in the comments below. Guys, enjoy this video, hit the like, and please subscribe for more stuff from me. Have a fantastic day, everyone.